Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Das, and I will be supervising your practicum experience here at the university. Congratulations on starting this process. It's one of the most engaging and rewarding learning experiences of any administrative program. So, congratulations on beginning this leg of your journey. It's going to be very exciting, it's going to be challenging, but it's going to be very enlightening, and it will lend a lot of perspective, which is very, very valuable when we think about building and refining leadership skills. So, congratulations to you. What I want to do with this video is talk a little bit about some logistics and some of the larger items that comprise the practicum experience. There are certainly details therein, and there are a lot of resources on our Canvas page here that you'll need to go through to make sure that we're not scrambling at the end, we don't miss something big, and that there's not unnecessary stress at the end. I, of course, am going to be here with you. I'm here to support you, to help make sure that you stay on track and that things are running smoothly. But remember also that, as a graduate student, as somebody who's looking to be that leader in education, you need to stay on top of making sure that you're compliant with the expectations of the practicum. If you have questions or if there are needs, you need to communicate those with me, and it's best to do that through email. I'm on email pretty regularly. Sometimes on the weekends, it might take a little bit longer, but I generally will respond very promptly. So if you have needs, make sure you're communicating with me. Otherwise, make sure that you understand the requirements of this program. So the design of this program is really meant to help you round out and refine a practical set of skills that you're going to use in the future going forward. This isn't something that we have folks do just to do it. This is where we dig in. This is where we show what we've learned, show what we've got, and be honest with ourselves, be honest about what we still need to learn. And this is the part where we really push our comfort zones. This is the part where we do some of the stuff that maybe we haven't liked to do in the past, or in our minds maybe have been kind of dreading coming into it. This is the time to face it. This is the time to get those skills going and be willing to do things that others won't do. Because in our jobs as educational leaders, a lot of times we're looked at as those folks who are the ones with the answers, or at least are going to find the answer, the ones that have got that backbone, have got the experience, that are at least going to step in and give something a shot, even if it's really hard. So make sure that you're not shying away from those opportunities. And I would encourage you to seek out some of those things like difficult parent meetings or de-escalations with students, or stepping into rooms that maybe are a little bit tense, and helping out with those types of things. Just examples. Every school and every site is different, but be thinking about those things. So as we get into the requirements of the program, you've got some forms that you're going to need to make sure that you're taking care of. And the first one is make sure that you have your application form filled out and submitted to the Graduate Studies Office. And make sure also that you have your site supervisor agreement. The requirement there is, of course, you need a site supervisor to agree to work with you, and that person is also going to need to be licensed. Of course, have an active administrative license to make sure that they're qualified to supervise you. So make sure that you do those two things. Sometimes these are done nowadays via a program called DocuSign, which makes things really easy and convenient. So just keep an eye out for that. And if you have questions, again, reference the materials. You can ask the Graduate Studies Office, or if that's something that we need to discuss, then we can, but those resources should be available to you. What you'll also need to do is get your log started. And this log is going to be really, really important. This is going to be the backbone it's going to be one of two pieces to the backbone of demonstrating that you have completed your practicum experience once we're at the end. This log should have the date, it should have the activity, it should have the length of time that you spent performing the activity, and it needs to have which administrative standard it's aligned to. You also need to reflect upon how this activity is aligned to the standards. So be ready to connect those dots. Otherwise, it's left up to assumption, which we certainly don't want to do, especially when we're looking at licensing and justifying why folks and why students are qualified to be licensed once they graduate. So make sure that you're being thorough with that. And then the second piece that we need to make sure we're doing is keeping artifacts. And examples of artifacts would be if you make revisions to a site security plan, if you have minutes or recordings of any meetings that you lead, things of that nature, things that you're going to use moving forward, things that demonstrate, in addition to your narrative, things that demonstrate that yes, I've completed this standard and I've done X number of hours, and here are my artifacts to show that I have developed and gained competency in this standard. And so what we want to do is leave no doubt there and make sure that we're being clear on that. And then finally, we'll need to develop a portfolio. This is going to include your log and it's going to include your artifacts. So what I'm trying to say is keep those things, the log and the artifacts, keep those organized, make sure that you're tracking them starting right away, and they'll come together eventually in a portfolio. So when I say that we don't want to be stressing about things at the end, everything should be ready to go as long as we're keeping track of things as we're moving along, making sure our hours are taken care of, our artifacts are taken care of, we're writing our narratives, we're logging our hours. That portfolio should be pretty easy to put together at the end. So the biggest things here, aside from those big highlights, are stay organized and make sure that you're communicating your needs. Again, email is going to be best. If there's something more pressing and we need to talk on the phone or do a Zoom or something like that, absolutely can do that. We can set that up, not a problem. Like I said, I'm here to support you. I'm here to help you down the home stretch. I'm excited for you, and I'm I'm very, very eager to see how these experiences go for you. I love to see just how much learning happens and development happens once we sort of get our hands dirty in the actual experience. So I'm excited for you, and I'm excited to see how you progress. So I'm glad to work with you, and here we go.